My unparalleled skill with the microphone is something which has left you duly impressed, and now I'd like to do an impression. Joe Stalin. Now I smell like extermination fluid. And now another impression. Let's see. Mussolini. No, I don't know. How did I get this dress? That's the question that was asked by one of my fans, Mr. Brian Melvin.
Half the audience.
Half the audience. Well, I found it in a crusty old bag outside of a Goodwill store. And I said, shooey, this here's a Calvin Klein. That's money from home. I'm the wrong hero. And this presentation is called Conflict, because never in the field of human conflict has so much been owed by so few. No, I'm sorry. Never in the field of humor conflict, or did I say that? Excuse me a moment. Oh, it's nice to see our sound man's here. Yes, sir.
What's up?
Hey, not much. Yeah, well, you know, I'm the wrong hero. And I say...
Turn it on.
Why Michael did.
Right. Oh, right. He was worried.
I was worried.
Put that broom down.
Why?
Because you might hurt yourself.
But it's my mother-in-law's car.
Oh, all right then.
Oh, all right then, that makes sense. It's like, put that down, but, oh, all right then. But I was told I could use it. Oh, all right then. You ever get that? Hey, what are you doing? Throwing that shit at those cars. Oh, I was told I could do this. Well, all right then, carry on. You know? You can just say, I was told for anything. What do you mean, killing those 6 million Jews? Well, the German people told me I could do it. Well, carry on then, carry on, yes. You know? No, I used to throw pumpkins at cars when I was little. We used to roll tires down the street at automobiles when I was little. Needless to say, my childhood was very short and was soon supplanted by my career as a felon. But we would roll those old tires down this long hill in the Lawrenceville section of Pittsburgh at a busy stream of traffic, and we would squeal in delight, much like that microphone just did, when one of the tires would hit one of the cars, go flying up into the air, cross over the lane of traffic and hit one of the other cars going the opposite direction. And then we would run. We would run like the Dickens.
You actually caused cars to hit other cars?
No, we caused tires to hit cars. You see, it was sort of kind of symbolic in a way, because without the tires, the cars couldn't go anywhere. So we were attacking the cars with their, you know, they were sort of using the piece of the car to attack the car. One time, my aunt was going out with a man who drove a Mercedes-Benz. That's right, I'm going to go to jail, but before I do, I'm going to get behind the wheel of a Cadillac car, and I'm going to drive that fucker, I'm going to drive it straight to the poorhouse. Yeah, but just before I die, I'm going to get behind the wheel of a Cadillac car. So what if it's a hearse? So what if I'm in the coffin in the back of it? So what if it's on the way to the death house? I'm going to drive in a Cadillac car. Well, one time my aunt went out with a man who drove a Mercedes-Benz. And her son didn't like this man, so he got one of his little Hot Wheels toys and scratched the surface of the Mercedes-Benz with the toy car, you know? It's sort of like he was whipping out his toy penis and trying to attack the man who had a real penis, you know? But I'm getting off the subject, so thanks for cutting the sound on that one. You know what I say? I say a few assholes always ruin it for everybody else. I say everybody else always ruins it for a few assholes, too. You ever notice that? I'm the wrong hero, and here's my plea to you. Me good, you bad. Me smart, you dumb. Okay? Got that? Good. This is conflict. And the big conflict in the world isn't between neutrons and electrons. It's not between molecules and things that take on more solid form. It is between two issues. Loyalty versus Betrayal! Do you understand that? Loyalty versus betrayal. I'll say it one more time. I know some of you haven't woken up yet. You know, you work 3 jobs, you're judge, jury, and executioner, and you don't get much sleep. And neither do I, because I'm the wrong hero. I never see a movie unless I can take my kids. You ever hear that from somebody? I never see a movie unless I can take the kids. You know, it's like, well, if you were an adult, you would understand what I'm trying to say. You know, it's like, if you had kids, you'd understand what I was trying to say. Well, if you were an adult, then you wouldn't use that excuse with me, all right? You ever notice how people get mad if you haven't seen the latest movie? It's like, have you seen The Crying Game? No. Well, I can't talk to you then, okay? You're no good. You don't buy into the same structures that I do, so therefore, I can't talk to you. You ever see a movie with 3 friends in it? That's why I don't go to movies anymore. Whenever you go to see a movie with 3 friends in it, one of them always dies. You can bank on it, you know? It's like blue collar. Uh-oh. One of them's gonna die. I don't know which one, but one of them. Not Harvey Keitel. Whoa. Probably Richard Pryor. No, he's not gonna die. It's the other guy, the guy whose name we forget. He's gonna die. So he does. Oh, Walter Lantz died. Do you know him? He did Woody Woodpecker. Well, I'd like to do an impression for you. It's Moody Moodpecker. Fuck off! Okay? For the punk rock generation. Yeah. I want to start a soap opera. It'll be called Grand Old Soap Opry. And it'll be like, you know, country and western soap opera. Everybody's drunk, they fall on their face. The end. Grand Old Soap Opry. And now this word for McDowner. Yes, McDowner. McDowners is your kind. And that was a real downer. And now, this word for ozone. Honey, what's the matter? I can't breathe. There's no oxygen in this room. Try ozone. Ozone? Ozone. But I'm allergic to salt. Well, try salt-free ozone. Also, peppermint-flavored ozone. And now this word for recombinant DNA. We bring things to life. Recombinant DNA. Thank you for that indulgent chuckle, Paps.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
Listen here, Big Daddy. I don't need your condescending laughter, see? I'm gonna express trying to talk, do you understand? To the top. Maybe not the toppermost to the poppermost. Oh, there's T-Max counting his money. Great. How many more widows and orphans can I swindle today? And now this word for the wrong hero's mouthwash. Are you sick of mouthwashes which only kill the weak germs and leave the strong germs behind?
No.
Well, try the wrong hero's mouthwash. It's a real live hand grenade. It kills all the germs, all the teeth, all the gums, most of the bone structure. The wrong hero's mouthwash. Let me have some reverb on this microphone.
Okay.
There's only 2 microphones, so the one I'm not talking on, give me lots of reverb. And cut the reverb on this. And I don't need monitors. I know what I sound like, okay? No monitors. Dim the lights, you know, and let's see.
Work.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying any such thing. Work?
I hear you. I know where you're coming from.
Work? Oh, I'm on Maxine Nightingale? You gotta get right back to where you started from. Love is good, love can be strong. You gotta, whoa! You gotta tear apart the equipment.
There you go again.
Oh, what are you, Ronald Reagan? There he goes again.
Say that.
Yes, he did. There you go again. There you go again. I was an actor. That means I'm a great leader, too, because I give the people what they want. Stupidity. Well, you know, okay, do I get the reverb? All right.
Believe it.
You better believe it, true believer. What is this, Marvel Comics?
No.
Is Stan Lee the greatest publisher in the history of comic books? You better believe it, true believer. What? What?
Way to go.
Ricky, what?
And now,
for the Ricky Watt and Mrs. Carmichael show. It's featuring Lucille Ball as Ricky Watt and Mr. Mooney as Mrs. Carmichael. Oh, yes. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to name my kid Mrs. Carmichael so I can do that every time she does something I don't like. And it's like, Daddy, I'm wet. Mrs. Carmichael. Yeah, well. When people see a beautiful girl walking down the street, what do they say? There goes a beautiful girl. When people see the wrong hero walking down the street, what do you suppose they say? Security, security, come to sector 4 at once. Intruder, intruder. All gypsies report to the town square. I'm the wrong hero. Like most Americans, I am either overexcited or exhausted. Come on, unfold those arms. What is this? What are you, a cigar store Indian?
What the hell are you talking to?
Culaga, that poor old wooden Indian head. That's it. Got it? All right, I have a question for you then. It's time to schmooze the audience. Hi, how are you? Nice jacket. Now die. What would you rather hear?
No, you're not talking to anybody.
Listen, pal. When you mess with my microphone, you're messing with death. See? All right, and now a thrash song. Thank you. Oh, it's intermission. Great. Now we can take a break. Oh my. What would you rather hear? Boring platitudes or confusing contradictions? Well, I'm here to give you both. Because I'm the wrong hero, and my mission in life is to train my followers to worship me. Get it? Anybody here pay their taxes? Does anybody here earn enough to pay taxes? Does anybody here not get AFDC? I'm asking. I want to know. I'm sincerely interested in you, at least until you've spent all your money, and then, hey, I don't care anymore. The IRS. You know, I sent the IRS a picture of money, and on the back of it, it read, "This is a picture of money if you had treated me with 1 iota of human decency and dignity, but since you're incapable of doing so, you can go with money. You can see orange chisel." Needless to say, I didn't sign my own name to it. I was sitting on a stoop, and he resented it. No, I was sitting on a stoop, and a man from the Jehovah's Witnesses came up to me, and he said, "France, do you know what the most important book of the Bible is?" And I said to him, "Well, that wouldn't happen to be the book of Revelations now, what? Listen, you come around here and you're a Jehovah's Witness? Well, you're going to witness a Jehovah's accident, and you'll be in Jehovah's hospital, in Jehovah's fucking traction, and if you don't have Jehovah's health insurance, it'll be your Jehovah's funeral." Okay? He got upset because I wasted his time, you know, and I wasn't going to give him any money. Now look, here's what I don't get. Jehovah's Witnesses think the world's going to end by the year 2000, nice round number, and yet they want you to give them money. Isn't that sort of like throwing money down a sewer, giving money to people who think the world's going to end? I mean, what are they going to do with it, you know? It's like, the world's ending, well, we got this pretty money. You know, we can play. There's a run on toilet paper, but I got a 5. I saw a car as I was walking down the street and it had a sign in it that said, "No radio." So I broke that window, and I took the sign, and I wrote on the back of it, "No car." And I took the car. Hey, what's up? What's wrong?
Nothing.
It was your car.
What?
Now you know what happened to it.
Oh, man.
See?
I missed the joke. I missed the humor in this.
You missed the humor. Oh, he doesn't get it, does he? You know, you could have saved 44% if you had gotten a comedian who was sponsored by AT&T. But you didn't. No, instead you got a comedian who's Conan the Freebooter. What, 44%? What's 44% of nothing, Big Chief? Hey, because I got expenses too. My camera, it breaks down. I gotta buy an acorn nut. I don't know what the hell the thing's called. It's an acorn nut. How am I supposed to know this? What am I, a squirrel? So I walk into the hardware store. Excuse me, can I have a nut just like this one? Oh, that's an acorn nut. And it's like, excuse me, I know you're a college graduate, and in fact you have a PhD in aerodynamics, and you're overqualified for this position, which is why you're working in a backwoods hardware store for $4.25 an hour. But if you don't mind, could you just can the dramatics and give me some service? You won't catch me working in a store. I'm afraid of hard work. Chalk it up to fear of the unknown. Now, have you seen that ad? She'll never be big enough to fit in his sweater. Do-do-do, do-do-do, boom, boom, boom. But she can eat his soup, Campbell's soup, with big chunks of chicken. No, she'll never be big enough to fit in his sweater, but she can eat his soup. That's not the most perverted ad I have ever seen in all my born days, that I don't know what. What is this, like, do you like to lurk around schoolyards? Well, they'll never be big enough to fit in the crawl space under your cellar, but they can eat your soup. Campbell's soup. What gets me about television is how they make the selling of applesauce into a major production worthy of a Broadway show. Have you seen the introspective photo collage from Mott's applesauce? Lots and lots and lots of Mott's, and they build up to it like it's Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, you know. Dun 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 dun, big chunks of apples. Dun 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 dun, little baby with bow tie. You know, lots and lots and lots of Mott's. America is finally back on its feet. America can finally afford to buy an applesauce with big chunks of apples in it. Duh. I just don't understand. I guess it means that people like me make it the basis of a comedic routine which is addressed to 4 people, which is good. Well, I'd like to sing a song for you. It's a country and western song. It's called Whiskey, Tobacco, Horses, Guns, and Women, in that order. All I've got is the title. I don't actually have a tune for it yet. I'm sorry. You know what I don't like about you? You never take anything seriously, do you? I never take anything comedically, so we're in the same boat. That was shtick. People say, you have no common sense. You ever get this, Brian? You have no common sense. You're smart, but you have no common sense. It's like, hey, I work in a diamond store. I might not have very many customers, but I sell diamonds! Do you understand? So don't talk to me. Don't complain that I don't sell like Diamondique. Okay? Okay? And people say, I really respect what you do. I can see these people in 1939. Hey, Fuhrer, I really respect what you do, you know? The stuff with the mustache and the hollering, I really respect what you do. Thank you. I really respect what you do. Hey, Hitler lost. Didn't he? Didn't he? Didn't he? Hey, he took my echo away. Well, I can't hold two harmless matrons for 4 minutes. Maybe they had to go to the bathroom. What hope do I have to sway masses? But that is the theme of today's show. It is conflict. And the reason that today conflict is the theme of the show is, when we do these one-man shows, the one thing that's lacking is the crucial element of conflict. And so, in order to compensate for this lack of conflict, one must introduce it in between the performer on stage and the spectator in the audience pit. Hence, conflict. Who's bored? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I really respect what you do. Hey, did you ever notice that Bill Clinton looks like Fred Flintstone? Just a little?
Well, we got a license plate, so.
I'd like to sing a song. This time I'm actually going to sing it.
So these people can stick with
Oh, white water, keep on rolling. Arkansas moon, gonna keep on shining. You know, South Africa is finally getting rid of apartheid. But the United States still has an apartheid. It's between illegal drugs and legal medicine. Any drug that's legal is medicine. Tobacco, is it a drug or is it medicine? It's medicine. Too many farmers depend on it. It's medicine. You know, is alcohol a drug or is it a medicine? It's medicine. Too many mob figures depend upon the Seagram's distillery to make their illegal money. It's medicine. You know, is Prozac a drug or is it medicine? The big pharmaceutical companies are behind it. It's medicine. You know, so just wanted to say something along those lines. I have a lot of strong beliefs. In fact, I would kill for the pro-life movement. I would. Now here's a question for you. Hey, I'm sorry this heavy-duty political stuff is like getting to you, okay? You have to crawl around stage. It's like the squirrel on Jimmy Stewart's brother's shoulder during It's a Wonderful Life. Anyway, yes. Why do employers prefer veterans? Give up? Veterans have guns. I think I'm going to apply for legal recognition as an Indian tribe. And to that end, I will open up a casino in my belly button. Take your chance. Stick your finger in it. Might come out with a piece of lint. Might come out with a punch in the nose. Wow. I love these introspective little dialogues between sound men. What's that doohickey do? Don't touch that man. It destroys the club. It's the baffle switch. You will die.
It blows up the stage.
You know, I know about disasters. I used to work at 3 Mile Island. And now I can use my piss jar as a nightlight. Now here's something for you. Bad children go to limbo. Where do bad adults go? Limbo. Rush limbo. I've got a big library. On one shelf I have Who's Who. On the other shelf I have the companion volume, Who's Not. It takes up the entire room. In fact, it takes up the entire apartment. I am not allergic to monosodium glutamate in Chinese foods. I am allergic to food dyes, preservatives, salts, and fermented sauces in Chinese foods, but not the MSG. In fact, I would prefer an entire meal of monosodium glutamate to what is being served at many of our finer Chinese restaurant establishments. Well, winding down, you guys go to supermarkets? Yeah, hey, there's a common chord. Boom. I'm gonna play that sucker for all it's worth. Reel him in now. Hey, have a seat. What's up?
Boy, you look funny.
Yeah, great. Well, that's the whole point, isn't it? Jeez, it's like, boy, you look tragic. You know, it's like, you know. Hey, talking during my set is considered very rude by most comedians, and in fact 99% of human beings, however, since you seem to be determined to continue doing it, I'll just have to talk louder and louder until you stop talking during my set, please. Thank you! See, I may look funny, but don't mess with me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I can sneer better than you.
You sure?
Sorry. You know, I mean, sometimes I overdo it, you know, and I'm truly sorry. So have a seat.
I will stand for one.
Oh, very well. Stand with your hands behind you.
Uh-huh.
So like, can I have a cigarette?
No, I don't smoke.
Oh, okay. Unless you're on fire. Well, you ever notice how supermarkets have more pet food than they have baby food?
Yeah?
Well, you just dropped your cup. God, don't drop your collar, or you'll have cholera.
I hope when I come back here around my face.
What?
Yeah, what?
I hope when you come back here, I'm not in your face. You walk in the middle of my set, talking as loud as you can, and you say that I'm in your face? Come on. Get with it. Get with the program. Get real. What's the frequency? You know what I mean? Do you walk into a musical club and like scream at the top of your lungs when they're trying to play music? No, because they have amplified sound. I do that.
I do that all the time.
Oh, I see. So you're
See, man, see on stage, man. You're supposed to be sleeping, right? Oh, okay.
You're being contrary now, aren't we? Well, do you believe that the inferiors should be exterminated? I believe that. You know, it's like,
Well, you're louder, so you must be right.
what's that?
Yeah. I say you're louder, so you must be right.
Oh, thank you, Steve. I adore you now. You know what? I'd like to go into a pet food line and see baby biscuits. Or maybe a baby food section and see
Oh, Lord.
meat juice. Oh Lord, this ain't funny.
I'll see you later.
I can't make stuff up myself, but I'm a good judge of stuff that other people make up in their spare time, and this is ain't funny.
I said, you know, it's a day of Martin's, his birthday. Is anybody that comes to see him?
And now, I will continue to talk loudly, albeit within 3 feet of the room, just to show that I am a total ignoramus with no sense of decorum whatsoever. Now I'll talk in the alcove. Yes, I'm going to talk in my loud, grating voice in the alcove.
You're on the show. Don't worry about it.
What? Well, don't worry. It's easy for you to say. You're not up here. You're not busting your balls. You're not breaking your ass. You're not...
I'll see you later.
What? Yeah, I know. All right. Now I can calm down. Now it's time for me to express my love for humanity. All of humanity, with only a few poignant exceptions. For example,
The people in the audience.
40% of whom have left. I say, kill farmers. Farmers are a conspiracy. They control the nation's food supply. See now coots shackled to rusted tractors off in the great American heartland, and they control the nation's food supply. And I say, kill Quakers, because they won't fight back. And I say, kill people with cook's hats who talk during my set. They control the club food supply. And I say, kill archaeologists. What good are archaeologists? They dig up stuff that dead people threw away. Stuff that dead people had no use for, and they dig it up. So kill archaeologists. I think I've been offensive enough, so I'm not going to do my bit about ethnic restaurants named after the ethnic traits of the ethnic groups which opened them up. All right, it's like, hey, come to hallucinate and eat their sniffing Irish restaurant, you know. The only reason I won't do it is because I'd like to talk about Civil War. Can I have a little less reverb?
Yeah, anything you want.
Well, all right. You know that we're not at war with anybody, but many states in the world are at war with themselves. Now, I don't want to bore you by reading you a list of these, but I will anyway. Colombia, Guatemala, Haiti, Peru, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Turkey, Lebanon, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Tajikistan, Northern Ireland, Angola, Burundi, Chad. Chad. That sounds like somebody that goes to a prep school. God, no wonder they're in so much trouble. Chad, Liberia, Mozambique, Rwanda, and South Africa. Did you see that massacre? Pictures of that massacre in South Africa? They shot those 3 Nazis down in South Africa. What got me was not the pictures of the dead people, but there was a big billboard behind them, and it said, "Sunlight Mildness." That's a weird juxtaposition. 3 dead Nazis and sunlight mildness on a billboard. Let's see, Somalia, Sudan, Zaire, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Cambodia, India, Indonesia, Laos, Myanmar, former Burma, Papua New Guinea, the Philippines, and Sri Lanka. All of these states are at war with themselves. I left out Mexico, but I guess they've been added to this list.
How about America?
America is at war with itself because there are the people who have delusions of individuality, and they're the Republicans, versus the people who have delusions of equality, and they're the Democrats. And they're delusional. And business is the religion of selfishness. I'll say it again. Business is the religion of selfishness. Why do you suppose tigers are extinct?
What about show business?
Show business is extinct. Show business is the business of pandering. Pandering to the basest needs and desires of your audience, who mold your presentation even as you mold their desires. But in a more serious vein, the moon is like capitalism. It's big, it's white, it sits there and does nothing, and it has a lot of pull. And the sun is like socialism. It's big, it's red, and sooner or later, everybody gets burned. Jesus. Well, you came just in time for the end of the show. Thank you, Jeff. It's so good to see you. So good to know you care enough to see the last minute.
I have personal problems.
Oh, I see. I was told to say I have personal problems. Well, then I'll just leave you with this final important insight. It's all business. And what's business? Politics. And what's politics? Politics is sports for people who are too fat to run. And what's sports? Greek myths. The myths of heroes. And who are heroes? Police and detectives. Detectives are sort of like your dad, and criminals are sort of like your weird uncle. They are, you know, and that's what it all comes down to. The self-designated police versus the people who aren't police and who are therefore criminals. Remember, in the future, everybody who is not a robot will be in jail!
That's too loud. Hurting our ears.
Well, I'm making a point. And if that point happens to shatter your eardrums, I am sorry, sincerely sorry. Well, I'm the wrong hero, and I must go now. Because you are beginning to bore me.
Really? That's great.
Because you make me nervous.
Oh. Why do we make you nervous?
Because you're evil! 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 Evil!
Who's next, Chris?
atmosphere fit for a king. I'm the wrong hero. Welcome to Conflict, Part 2. Warning, the wrong hero's monologue may contain sexual content or references to nudity, offensive or inappropriate political content, ethnically insensitive or sexually insensitive content, and in addition, some viewers may regard it as aesthetically unpleasing, or, in plain English, downright vile. The wrong hero assumes no responsibility for individuals who choose to disregard this warning. As a matter of fact, the wrong hero assumes no responsibility for anything. And now I'm going to use the evil extractor on myself to suck out every last drop of evil. This is going to be very painful and lengthy, so please bear with me. Now I'm nice. Come right in. The following program is insipid and in no way threatens the status quo. Welcome to the Wrong Hero Seminar. This is coffee house comedy, embodying all the worst features of coffee houses and comedy.
For example, microphones that don't work. What happened?
I don't know. Oh, here we go.
I'm sorry.
Could I have a little less echo, reverb?
Yeah.
I'd like to sound like a nice human instead of an evil alien. Oh, I can feel the evil starting to slip back. Now I'm nice. Hi, I'm the wrong hero. Welcome to my comeback tour. I wasn't famous the first time, nor did I ever really go away. But let's not dwell on the past. I should warn you, however, you must not mistake my courtesy for lack of resolve. Also, I ask that you forgive me in advance if I'm so intent on my job of making you laugh that I forget to smile. And remember, you are not required to laugh, just nod and grunt in all of the appropriate places. I am the wrong hero. I am not a ham. I'm a pork shoulder. I don't think that any comedian in the world would do what the wrong hero does week after week. Place himself on the front lines of individuals who are fighting the enormous power that advertising exerts upon our psychosexual attitudes.
Right.
And with that in mind, I'd like to give you some messages from my sponsor. Say kids, are you tired of playing with G.I. Joes? Would you like something more in line with the 90s? Well, try the Johnny Treason action figure. Comes with his very special friend, Trevor Treason, and also Congressman Luke Treason. The Wrong Hero is also brought to you by Evil O's. Evil O's are the only cereal that bites back. And by Yellow Jacket Soda Pop.
Talk to you later.
Well, come in. This episode of The Wrong Hero, as I said before, is brought to you by Yellow Jacket Soda Pop, the sugary treat in the bright yellow can. It won't keep the insects away, but at least you'll be color coordinated. And the Wrong Hero is also brought to you by the Bib. The Bib, the first Bible for children. The Bib. The Old Testament is just one word. No. And the New Testament is also just one word. Because. And if you act now, you'll receive at no extra charge the Apocrypha and the Gospel of Thomas on a face cloth. Only with the Bib. And in association with the Bib, the Wrong Hero also presents the first Bible for dogs. It's called Heel. The Old Testament is just one word, sit. And the New Testament is also just two words, good dog, only with Heel, the first Bible for dogs. In addition, the Wrong Hero is also brought to you by Pep Loss for cranky babies. Pep Loss. It's the remedy your great-great-grandmother used on your grandfather, and the remedy your grandfather used on you, creating 5 generations of junkies, all hooked on Pep Loss. Pep Loss. It turns the crabbies into the drowsies. Also try junkie gum. Like to smoke crack on the job but your boss won't let you? Chew junkie gum. With the working of your jaws, you'll be announcing to your employer, junkie, junkie, junkie. Only with junkie gum. In addition, the Wrong Hero is brought to you by Hard and Wet Deodorant. It makes you smell filthy, even if you're clean. And by Deodorant. It gets rid of the offensive smell of your deodorant. And also by Soft and Dry Deodorant. It makes you smell clean, even if you're filthy. Well, now that the endorsements are over, it's time to actually tell some jokes. I found somebody else's check the other day, and I cashed it. But I'm not all bad. At least I wrote thank you on the memo, and right next to it I put a little smiley face. And right under that I wrote, have a nice day. Because I'm the Wrong Hero. I'm more sinning than sinned against. Well, it's Easter, almost, and I think I finally have it figured out. Christmas is for worshiping toys, and Easter is for worshiping chocolate. A very important distinction. Oh, and I figured out something else too. You know, in California, all these people are worshiping crystals. Well, I figured this out. Crystals are actually icons that have been left in the California sun. Don't you see?
No.
Okay, well, some more about religion then. I'm the Wrong Hero, and in my religion, if you know that something is wrong and you don't do anything about it, then so what? And to illustrate, I'm going to sing a little song. Do what you can to make my voice sound like that of a human. There are many people who will say they're Christians and they live like Christians on the Sabbath day. But from Monday morning to the Friday evening, they just hate their neighbors all along the way. If you don't love God, then you don't love your neighbor. If you gossip about him, if you never have mercy, if you get into trouble and you don't try to help him, then you don't love your neighbor, and so what? Whenever I go for a walk in the park, people come up to me and say, what a cute little dog. The trouble is, I'm holding my baby. I'm the Wrong Hero, and let's face it, I have no life. So I'm going to talk about cars and what's on television, like 99% of most comedians who have no life. I got this car and I went from 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. And now I'm 97 years old. I was driving down the road, and a cop pulled me over because I was weaving. He said, "Hey, why were you weaving like that, buddy?" And I said, "Officer, it's hard to steer with a monkey wrench." Woo! When I die, sort of like what I'm doing right now, only actual physical death is involved. Hi, Patty. Hey, you'll get a big charge out of this one.
Tell it to me.
When I die, I'm going to be cremated, and I'm going to have my remains put into a car ashtray and discreetly dumped into a secluded corner of the parking lot in the Stop and Shop, because somehow that would seem more polite than hurling my smoldering corpse from a car window going 85 miles an hour down Route 95. Now, wouldn't it? On the wrong. You like that? I worked all day on that. Isn't that pathetic? I'm the wrong hero, and I believe in no rules but one. No loaded guns on the premises while I'm doing my set. You might wonder why I do this, and I'm going to tell you right now. Here's why. I'm doing this so I can save enough money to invent a handgun made out of cocaine. That way, you can either shoot it or sniff it. Some people call me the wrong hero, others people call me the exemplar of good taste and family entertainment. Well, you know, nowadays smoking is not allowed in McDonald's. Smoking guns are okay, especially if wielded by disgruntled former employees with incomprehensible demands written on old napkins. But not smoking. Which reminds me, a woman came into the library where I work and asked for a book by Brearley and Myers entitled Principles of Corporate Finance. And I said, Principles of Corporate Finance? Is that an oxymoron or a contradiction? I love the merry tinkling peals of laughter emanating from the pointy doorway. It gives me a large charge. Too much echo. Oh, that's okay. I was in the hardware store, and the salesperson asked me.
I said, go ahead, keep talking.
Oof. I was in the hardware store, and the salesperson asked me what I wanted. I said, "I'm just looking." And he said, "What exactly are you looking for?" And I said, "I'm looking for a secluded part of the store where you can't pester me." Yeah, there's a lot of officious salespeople, like waiters, particularly waiters who try to become your best friend by introducing themselves to you by name. You know, like, "Hello, my name is Reynaldo. Today's special is prosciutti." I like to say to them, "Hello, my name is Ronhiro. Today's special is feed me and live." Me and my girl went to an authentic Italian restaurant. Now, you want to know how authentic it was? All of the prices were in Roman numerals. Now, that wasn't so bad, but figuring out the tip on MCMDXXXVII was murder. And of course, my girlfriend had to say, loud enough for everybody to hear, "CC isn't enough. You have to tip him at least CCDXXV. Woo! What's the matter, Mr. Grumpy? Oh, yes it is. CCDXXV? Well, what is it then? A bunch of letters arbitrarily strung together for the purposes of wringing a laugh out of somebody who's determined not to so much as crack a smile?
CC is 100 and D is 5.
Oh, you're right, it's DCCXXV, but that's too much. I'd rather just give them CCXXV. That way I'd have I'd have C for the tolls on the Mass Pike. Now, would you believe that a wasp was trying to build a nest on the second floor of my house? What that 32-year-old female was doing on my window ledge is beyond me. Hey, you know, inside of every thin woman, there's a fat man struggling to get out. Me. Hey, don't you just hate it when you're just about to propose marriage over the telephone and you hear the toilet flushing? It sort of puts a damper on your romantic inclinations. You see that movie Schindler's List? I think they should have equal time for Soviet concentration camps. Nobody ever talks about the 20 million Russians and Poles. You know, it's always the 6 million, the 6 million. Oof. You know, with the coming boom in telecommunications, there's going to be 500 cable channels. And I propose that one of those 500 channels, that's right, how much would that be in percentage terms? 0.2% of all the programming ought to be devoted to anti-advertising. It could be called the Truth in Advertising channel. Something like, don't buy Oreos. The inside of an Oreo is just lard and sugar. Or, don't buy, whoa, the Oreo people are coming. Don't buy Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is largely water, sugar, and phosphoric acid. Ooh. And what is a fig Newton? A fig Newton is just a Zwieback cookie stuffed with seedy crud. You know what? I'm beginning to think that putting karaoke in this room would be a very attractive alternative to what's going on now. Something else I need to know. Where are all the groupies throwing their underwear at me on stage when you really need them? I'm on a lifelong mission to improve the oldies. Can you suggest any oldies that I could improve on for you before your very eyes? An oldie, shout one out. I need your help on this one. I need your help for get a job. Like, well, it's actually a blues, you know.
What do you want?
No, it's good. Get a job. When I read the paper, I read it through and through. I like the blues. You know, the blues makes everything sound freighted with grief. No matter what it is, you know, like, little boy blue, come blow your horn. But if it's the blues, it's, little boy blue, baby, please come blow your horn. You know, anything. Any nursery rhyme. Got any nursery rhymes we can turn into blues songs?
Blues, how about White Room?
White? That's not a nursery rhyme. Well, we'll turn into a pop song. In the white room, hey, in the white room with red curtains, hey. White room. Now, that was a cheerful little ditty for you. What is that, the padded cell where the members of Cream are now currently residing after years of hard drug abuse? Ginger Baker. Well, you vomited on the drumsticks. Use your hands now, you know. In the white room. Oh. I have a question for you. How come taxpayers are forced to subsidize rich people who prefer to live over earthquake zones, and yet there's a big stink when they propose taxing employers to pay for people who can't afford health care? Hmm? What, there's like maybe 5,000 Hollywood stars and there's 38 million people who can't get health insurance. I don't know, who's more important? The Hollywood stars. I have some suggestions for world harmony. Replace the ineffectual United Nations with the Disney Corporation. Because if you've ever been to a Disney World, it's regimented right down to the last degree. You know, people would be standing in lines to buy ammunition to kill each other if the world were run by the Disney people. Oh, and you know what? I think we should replace people who actually create stuff with people who only pretend to do so. That way, there'll be twice as much work. You know, like actors. Make all the policemen into actors. You have the right to remain silent. It won't stop you from robbing the bank, but hey, I'm just doing my lines. Okay?
Use another mic too, so I can check them out.
Oh, okay. And now it's the combination wrong hero set and sound line check.
What happened there?
What happened? I'll tell you what happened.
A lot. Start at the beginning.
Begin to begin. All right.
Now stay on there for a
Ooh.
little while.
Well, what am I going to do with this?
Leave it there. Don't let it fall.
I mean, like
Oh, no.
that?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Go to that one on your far left. Yeah. Try that one for a little while. Thank you.
All right, I only have a little while left, you'll be happy to know. What if George Washington were alive today? I think the media would hound him every bit as much as they're hounding Bill Clinton. Of course, they're just doing their jobs, but it's like, Mr. Washington, is it true that you chopped down the cherry tree? No, 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 no. I actually tore it out by its roots. I resent these allegations. You know, there's something you should know about the post office, by the way, speaking of bureaucracies. You can put anything you want for the name of the city, just so long as the street address and the zip code are correct. So I propose sending mail to my apartment by, the wrong hero, Massachusetts Avenue, down with feather-bedding postal unions, Massachusetts 02139. You know, this is a nifty trick, it'll work. The IRS, you know, address it to IRS, down with government bureaucrats who bleed you of the last drop of your blood, Massachusetts 01010. Okay, now it's time to do my famous, even though this is my debut performance of it, it's self-designated as famous. I'm going to turn from a liberal to a conservative and back again with the liberal conservative maker. Okay? I hate the federal government. I'm sick of them meddling in everything I do. No, the federal government is very necessary to ensure that the helpless and the homeless are treated with the dignity and respect which they can't command by themselves. I think the government should be forced to run themselves along the lines of a business. If this was a business, they'd be out of business. So I'm in favor of a balanced budget amendment. No, a balanced budget amendment wouldn't work because, of course, as we all know, you can't legislate morality. What do you mean you can't legislate morality? Of course you can. What do you think the laws against murder are doing? They're legislating morality. You are indulging in a patent oversimplification of the words legislate and morality. What we intend by the phrase, you can't legislate morality, is simply that you can't force people to do things against their will that they're not inclined to do. I think they should eliminate the capital gains tax. It just goes to a bunch of welfare spongers and mooshers and people in prisons who still have the right to vote and illegal immigrants and... No, the capital gains tax helps to pay for very necessary reforms, such as our crumbling infrastructure and the fact that 38% of our bridges are unsafe to drive on. No energy tax. I think the price of oil is high enough. What is it, $13 a barrel? That's too much to pay. So what if it was $30 a barrel 20 years ago? I don't care. No, we should have an energy tax because people who drive cars cause wear on the roadways and should be forced to subsidize it. I think they should bring back prayer in schools. That's the problem with our schools today. Not enough religion. No, the separation of church and state prohibits the introduction of prayer in our schools. Well, that's the end of that highly unsuccessful segment of the liberal conservative maker. Well, in case you haven't guessed by now, I have nothing to say, but that's okay. That's okay though, because there's almost nobody here. But of course there is one discerning individual in the audience, and that's worth 500 dotards. That was a compliment. You're supposed to at least look up. I went to a motivational seminar, but I didn't learn much because the lecturer just wasn't into it. He told us we could go to the bathroom anytime we wanted, and he said that we didn't have to pay him right away and that we could pay part of his fee in food stamps. Ooh. Ooh. You know, I would have been a doctor, but I can't stand the sight of blood. But I love the sight of plasma. It's just one of those things. And I love going to gory action-adventure movies where blood is spilled by the ream. You don't see much blood on television. You watch any hospital show, like Nurses or General Hospital, it's always these colorless bags of food stuff hanging from the patient's arm, you know, intravenous drip. Never any blood, though. Well, maybe when I die, I'll let my dog bury me. Because I wouldn't want him to think I deserted him.
I'm leaving.
Now, don't leave yet. I'm almost through. I want to get one of those computerized translators, so I went out and I bought one. Unfortunately, the instructions were written in 7 languages, and none of them was English. But that's okay, because I hate the filthy English language. Too many words, too difficult to spell, and the pronunciations are capricious and arbitrary, and so I'm going to do the rest of my set in German. No, just kidding. I want to start a line of ethnic restaurants which are called by the names of the ethnic trait of the ethnic group whose food is served there. Like an Italian restaurant that's called, "Hey, you want to fucking eat or what? You know, hey, that was a good one. I'll have to put a little check mark next to that one.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, hey, one good one out of, about 100. What? 1 out of 50. I'm
You
batting,
were very relaxed when you said it.
I'm batting 50. Okay, then I'll get even more relaxed. I'm going to start a class warfare restaurant. For example, a restaurant called Proletarians Are Us, where the waiter says, "I'm not paid enough to wait on you hand and foot." Or maybe a restaurant called Bourgeois Hut, where the waiter says, "I would wait on you, but I'm too busy writing my novel, which is about 3 generations of my immigrant family."
Dude, look out.
And maybe a restaurant for rich people called, I don't know, Rich Food. It's like, "Excuse me, sir, but before I take your order, would you mind telling me where you prepped?" I walked into an ice cream store, and there was an old grandpa, and he ordered a quart of vanilla, and then there's an old grandma who was with him, and she sort of gave a wicked chuckle and ordered a sinful quart of chocolate ice cream. I stepped up to the counter and I said, give me 1/3 of a quart grapefruit sorbet, 1/3 of a quart ginger snap molasses, and 1/3 of a quart coffee cappuccino, almond bark, Mexican car exhaust fumes, chewing tobacco, alcohol, rum, tobacco, gasoline, to go. There's nothing more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Except maybe one monkey in a barrel giving you that special little smile and batting her eyelashes at you. Know what I mean? Well, this concludes my presentation. I'm the wrong hero, fashionable nonconformist, and like farmers, I'm against daylight savings time because the cows can't adjust. For that matter, I'm also against fashion because my wallet can't adjust. Now remember this, I'm the wrong hero. I give a lot, but what I take back isn't legislated by you. Oh, just one more thing. I guess we have a performance of Jesus Christ Superstar going on downstairs. Now, I think a good sponsor for Jesus Christ Superstar would be Jesus Christ Soup. You know, Jesus Christ Soup. You sick of chicken, mushroom? Try Jesus Christ Soup. The only soup that gives you spiritual advice while you're eating it. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Only with Jesus Christ Soup. God, you must be impervious to my magic bullet. I guess you got over your dose of the clap a long time ago. Well, I'm the wrong hero, and I almost neglected the most crucial component of this show, and that is to announce that you are beginning to bore me because, of course, you make me nervous. Nervous. Reason being, because you're evil. Evil. Evil.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, check the rise. Hello, testing, testing. Testing, hello. Sounds good.
How do you use this thing?
Put it on the floor.
What is this?
Microphone.
Ew!
Put it on the floor.
Ew! Looks like a big fly's eye! A fly's eye on a stick! It's burning!
Put it on the camera.
Hi, I'm the wrong hero. This is conflict. I'm going to skip all the ingratiating introductory bullshit because it takes up too much time, and I don't need to have you like me. I'm not interested in that. As far as I'm concerned, you can hate my guts! for all I care, because I'm the wrong hero. And don't worry about laughing and missing any of the funny parts, because there ain't any. You're standing in front of my cue sheets. Who do you think you are? But I do have a very important question for you. Do you have any spare change so I can fill the meter?
Yeah, like, I own this $20,000 car and I can't afford a fucking quarter to put in the meter. So I'm gonna hit you up for it, you know?
Can I have $1 so I can pay the tolls?
I got a $50,000 limousine, but I can't afford to pay the stinking toll.
And actually, I'm here to forecast the weather for the next 7 days, but I think I'll preface my forecast with half an hour of jokes. Just like most TV weathermen would if they could get away with it. Hey, I love this concurrent conversation happening on stage. Isn't it wonderful when the hecklers get on stage and start doing their act? Isn't that wonderful? You know, hecklers have an act too. The only trouble is it's only 15 seconds long, you know? Now, if they could build up all their greatest heckle lines into 5 minutes, they could do an entire set of heckling. Like, you stink! You're not funny! What makes you think you're any good? Hey, I don't like you! You're an asshole! Hey, listen, buddy, if you don't stop with that shit, I'm gonna throw this chair at you! And how's about buying around? That's just a drunken heckler, you know? It's like, hey man, I'd like you better if you bought me a drink. Hi, I'm the wrong hero. This set is called Conflict. And the reason it's called Conflict is...
It's called breaking things is what it's called.
It's called I Fall Down and Go Boom, co-starring Baby Huey. That's what it's called. It's called Conflict because comedians are like playwrights, except they are lacking one crucial element which makes, or let's say drives a play, and that is the element of conflict. And so I am going to reintroduce that element of conflict into the realm of stand-up comedy, or in this case, misery. Thank you. My assistant, very able he is too, Mr. Steve Iskowitz. He's doesn't screw in there. Hey Mike, can we have some assistance up here? Now your presence is urgently required. Well, the thing, it fell off, it won't go back on. Hi Mike, this way. Anyway, before I commence with my set, can I have your phone number?
Who do you want now?
Not you. I need you to fix that, because this guy is all thumbs.
You're just gonna break it again.
No, I picked it up, and I didn't know. Can I have your phone number? Now, before you give it to me, I have to warn you that I may use your phone number as part of a computerized mailing list, and for that matter, can I have your address and social security number too? I'm the wrong hero. I'm a charismatic,
Bible-toting, Jesus-shooting son of a bitch! I'm a rootin'-tootin' son of a gun! Yeah! I'm a homicidal, maniacal, American cowboy stuck in the Far East!
For no particular reason. Like Elvis Presley, I have excellent taste in adult diapers. And remember, the wrong hero is not available in stores. Another warning, the wrong hero is living proof that arrogance is no cure for stupidity. I found an old list of things to do the other day. I didn't get around to doing any of them. And the funny thing is, at the top of that list was, write some funny jokes. Okay? Instead of, well, I mean, you know, like write some
Cute, heartwarming jokes about puppies and girlfriends and cars and bosses. My boss, boy, is he rough. How rough is he? Well, he already.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for interrupting the flow of my incredible rant.
You can always count on me for that.
Right. Well, with friends like you, who needs fleas? As Janet said on All My Children. That was a quote. Anyway, I'm the wrong hero. Today's debate topic is the wrong hero, insect pest or reluctant messiah. Next week's debate topic is, be it resolved that icebergs are a threat to the merchant marine.
You broke it. That's why I didn't fix it. You're just gonna keep breaking
like
it.
that, for instance. It goes in the sign. That part doesn't screw in. It's not one of them.
why don't you just use it like a magic wand kind of? You're all mixed up, dude. You don't see how you on reality.
A grip on reality. A grip on your throat would be good enough, wouldn't it? As I crush your Adam's apple. Hey, very fine apple quenchers. Made out of a real Adam's apple. Down, down. Anyway, I'm the wrong hero, and I have several mottos for the 90s. Spread the dearth. Submerge your ego because I say so. And keep a watchful eye, at least until somebody claims it. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but all of the scenic views are on the other side of the club. So if you want to like watch bums puking in the alleyway while I'm doing my set, you'll have to sit way back there and sort of carve a little hole in the wall in order to do so. A woman came into this restaurant the other day, and she was breastfeeding her baby. And it was my sad duty to report to her that she wasn't allowed to bring in beverages from the outside. I'm the wrong hero. So juicy and tender, you can eat me with a fork. But don't. You wouldn't want to miss out on one drop of the goodness. Well, now it's time for me to do my product endorsements. This episode of The Wrong Hero is brought to you by the Infinity Card. It's accepted everywhere! All at once. So, don't leave home without it. In fact, don't even exist without it, because it's the only card that's accepted all at... Sorry, I didn't have time to say that because it's already this next second, you know? It's the card for a life that's so fast-paced that the second you use it, it's instantly obsolescent. And in fact, you have to use it 10 seconds in advance of when it's actually going to be good. Expiry date, yesterday. No, 2 nanoseconds ago. Oh no, my card's self-destructing! So keep your Infinity Card up to date, or this could happen to you. Kurt Cobain. That's, smells like Teen Spirit backwards now. The song forwards. Courtney Love is on the back of the Grateful Dead's 3rd album. And you know what? She's put on a little weight since then. About 100 pounds. Does she even weigh 100 pounds? What's with this woman? It's just like, come to bulimia in the Anorexia Islands. You will walk in the fine white sands in your bare feet, for we will have stolen your shoes and eaten them at the airport in bulimia in the Anorexia Islands. Official home of the Miss Universe pageant. This episode of Wrong Hero is also brought to you by the penis. Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. But the men like it too. And by Tarantula Child. Is your spider or arachnid listless, sluggish? Why don't you feed him the food he loves? Feed him Tarantula Child! Scorpions love it too. This episode of The Wrong Hero is also brought to you by Timothy Leary's Crazy World of LSD. An army jeep, 1 cent. A piece of lint, $1 million! And by No Loke, the locust eater's tooth polish. Say, charismatic Christians, do you eat locusts? Do locusts stain your teeth? Try this simple test. Breathe into the shroud of Turin. If it turns brown, you need No Loke, the locust eater's tooth polish. Comes in regular and gall and wormwood. No Loke. Friends, is this seat safe? Is this seat safe? Is this seat safe? Is this seat safe? For verily, if this house is going to Hi, I'm the Wrong Hero, and my peaceful motto is, suck my drug-laced nipples, earth filth. Or if you don't like that, try silence, earth meat. the master speaks. Or the wrong hero. He's not all bad. He'll make your wife pregnant for you. Now stick around because after the show, we're going to do something fun, like burn some poison ivy. Working on a religious line of bumper stickers, like, ask me about my eternal torment. Eternal torment. Or, honk if you've betrayed our Lord. Or, L. Ron Hubbard is my co-pilot. Or, the contemporary favorite, I break for compound fires. Later in the set, we'll discuss my historical line of bumper stickers. But I have to introduce an element of suspense, even though it's totally specious. Actually, I don't have to do anything. And now this word for Pope Light. Pope Light, slimmer than the fat pontiffs Catholics worship. You got your own Pope now, baby. 2,000 years, you've come a long way. I'm the wrong hero, and I don't often pray, but when I do, my prayer goes like this. Lord, give me patience.
Hey, don't do that.
Alright. You know, if Jesus came back, I think I'd say to him, Lord, can I pick the fleas out of your beard? They're tasty. I found a mole with the hair in it. So I made mole stew and rabbit casserole. The mole with the hair in it. Every time my dog sees me, he jumps for joy. Please, one wet, one dry, okay? The wet-head is dead. Meet the dry look. Every time my dog sees me, he jumps for joy. Can you picture it? He's up on his hind leg. And you know why? Because he knows I'm a-fixin' to put a bouillon cube in the toilet bowl. Doggy soup. Please, no reverb, no delay, no echo, okay? Save it for... Oh, then I'll tell you what, I'll switch off, okay? Mike Higgins, okay? You're slowing me down. I'm at a manic pace, and every time I get to the part where I'm a diesel train going 90 miles an hill, you slow me down with that stupid, fatuous reverb and echo. I don't need it, I don't want it.
Is that why you fired me?
I didn't fire you, you quit. Anyway, my dog's my best friend. All my best friends eat stuff off the ground that ain't still twitching. And all my best friends beg for treats with their genitalia exposed. Sure, all your best friends do it too. And now this word for the new Sotto Voce automobile. The Sotto Voce for 94. Drive her halfway to distraction with the Sotto Voce. It doesn't run, but it has a cool name. I have a bumper sticker on my car that reads, "Don't laugh, someday your car will be a molten, twisted heap of rubble." You know, my car is 16 years old and I'm beginning to think, maybe it's time it's got its own driver's license, so it could drive itself around, even at night, without an adult operator present. I have a great memory. I even remember things that never happened, like having a career and performing without having thrash music seeping in from downstairs. I love thrash music, you know, because the lyrics don't have to be any too cerebral. All you have to do is think of some government warning and you can set it to the lyrics of a thrash song, you know, like cross at the green, not in between, hey! You know, anything at all, like never in the field of human conflict has so many, oh, so much to so few, boom, 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 boom. You know, anything at all, like, you know, Surgeon General's warning, smoking cigarettes may cause hazards to your health. You know, smoking by pregnant women. You know, little boy blue, come blow your horn. Sheep in the meadow, gals in the door, hey! I'm the wrong hero. Do I contradict myself? Well, maybe, but not really. And now the prize-winning segment of the Wrong Heroes show, in which the wrong hero discusses a very serious topic: attention deficit. What was I saying? Disorder. Attention deficit disorder is characterized by a sense of underachievement. I'm not making myself clear, am I? Attention deficit disorder is characterized by a sense of disorganization. Where am I? Attention deficit disorder is characterized by procrastination. I'll tell you tomorrow. A need for constant stimulation. I gotta get out of this racket. Intolerance for boredom. I'm tired of this. And on the plus side, intelligence, creativity, and intuition. I think I've milked this gag for about as much as I possibly can. So, that concludes my presentation of attention deficit disorder. What was that? Was that because I burped on stage? Oh, okay. Don't litter the stage with your prop gags. That's the first rule of comedy. That's an example of a prop gag. Okay? Actually, I'm the wrong hero. I have high self-esteem. But you don't want to hear that, I'll bet. I've got Parkinson's disease, and he's got mine. And if he doesn't give it back, I'm gonna start to get a little jittery!
Look out.
Look out.
That might fall away from the water there. It's gonna be ugly. Yeah, next up.
Is the crowd a multiple personality disorder? Or is it just me?
Yeah.
And me. I went to the doctor with the flu, and he said, we'll just have to let the flu run its course. That'll be $70, please. So I gave him a penny, and I said, we'll just have to let your payment run its course. Put this in the bank and wait for 20 years, and it might appreciate to $70. Doc. I'm the wrong hero, and I'd like to say something which I consider to be a very important public service message about teenage drug users. Why don't teenage drug users grow up and take their medicine just like the rest of us? Huh? And now on the serious side, this is the wrong hero with a very important message from your anti-Chamber of Commerce. Big business is the religion of selfishness. This has been sponsored by all of the people who aren't in any kind of business themselves, but merely want to undermine the achievements of those who have managed, despite government regulations, to form a thriving business enterprise. Thank you. I have a question for you. Superman, right? He fights crime and all this. You know, this is a man that can, like, get coal and make diamonds. Why doesn't he just make 1 jillion diamonds, give it to all the crooks, and then they could cash in, they wouldn't have to steal anymore, and he wouldn't have to hop around in his underwear? If he's so damn smart. Just thought I'd ask. I had a science assignment to create a monster. The next day I came into class empty-handed and said, the homework ate the dog. I'm sorry. I wrote my cover letter on a nest of fire ants. But the personnel office had sprinkled boric acid around the door sills, so they never got it. So I sent them my resume. And this is how my resume goes.
This is my resume, do you hear? Mine. Get your filthy hands off it! For I have seen you lurking behind the file cabinets eating greasy French fries from nameless fast food joints, and I spent $20 to put this here resume on cream colored paper, so get your filthy hands off of it. Sincerely, the wrong hero. I had a job writing children's books, but I got fired for using the word poop. And they rejected my masterpiece, Winnie the Shit. People say, wrong hero, do you have a bad attitude? And I say, that, my good man, is none of your concern. When you're on the job, right, and you do something like snarl at somebody, instead of saying, I'm sorry, say, thank you. It works every time. They don't know what you're thanking them for, except maybe their patience because you snarled at them and didn't apologize, and you don't have to apologize. Not funny, but true. My girlfriend's an existentialist. I bought her a disengagement ring. Why is it that your friends always say, I'm gonna fix you up with a nice girl? If she's so nice, how come she can't find her own boyfriend? You know? It's part of the Jerry Seinfeld doing a show about nothing observational humor segment, you know? My apartment smells like cat piss.
Yeah, they have a good baseline. That's the main thing.
Cat piss?
No, the Seinfeld, they have a good baseline.
You think that's a good baseline, the Seinfeld show? That's right. Hammer the point home, Frankenstein. Get that cold chisel and drive it right in the skull. You know, like, hi, Chinese food. You know, I hate that baseline. It's insulting, it's humiliating, and it's degrading. Why? Just have a damn laugh track with the people who've been dead for 30 years laughing on a synthesized soundtrack, okay? No, not with the bass line. What if I had a bass line following every joke I did? Wouldn't you find that annoying after a while? Like, my apartment smells like cat piss, and the hell of it is, I don't own a cat. I'll try that, you know. If it works for him, it'll work for me. My apartment came furnished, you know, which is great, because I wouldn't want to have to go out and buy cockroaches. Yeah, they're going upscale on me, though. They don't call it trash, they call it designer filth. They don't drink the water out of the toilet, they drink flavored seltzers. They got a little sign tacked up over my spare room. Welcome to Vermin Court. Bed bugs and silverfish, please use the servants' entrance. Hey, but you know, cockroaches aren't all bad. I saw a nice cockroach. He was bringing a paper bag with a grease spot to a sick weevil friend. Don't you hate it when you have a gun under your pillow and you wake up and there's a bullet in your hair? Happens to me all the time. You know, I held a bullet in my hand because I couldn't get it through my head. And here's another thing. Somewhere, I know, out there, somewhere, there's a bullet with my name on it. And I'm going to find it because it's been writing bad checks all over town. And now, this word for movie with 3 friends in it and one of them dies. But first, my new film, sitting in trailers and being protected by bodyguards and getting stinking drunk while they do all the work. It's rated PG, because I don't really drink real alcohol, it's just root beer. My family was not dysfunctional, so I have no excuse. What's wrong with me? I guess it's because I'm an adherent of the Greek philosopher Centipodes. He had 100 legs. And I don't have a leg to stand on. Once I resort to facile tricks like third burp in 10 minutes. It's burp alert when the comedian doesn't have anything funny to punctuate his punchline. Barbarigamy. I'd like to read you a proem. It is a prefatory poem inspired by the work of the sage Robert Pinsky. Fire ain't so hot. Music is okay, but I don't like the way it sounds. The only thing I hate more than love is hate. I want to learn sign language so I can bark orders at deaf people. There's all this stuff about Hillary Clinton. Poor Hillary Clinton. She risked a whole $100. Whoa! 100 smackers! Honey, that's money from home! I don't know. The baby ain't gonna eat for 3 months. You put that there money down on hog futures. But honey, if I get in the market and get out just right, I can make 10,000% profit. 10,000% profit? Why? That's really money from home. Yeah, do it, man. Come on. Bill Clinton has always been an overachiever. He had the prize-winning hog at the Arkansas State Fair when he was 12 years old. And they made him put it back in his pants. I think that would be a good segue from my historical line of bumper stickers. Ask me about the Haymarket riots. Honk if you were in the bonus army. And my favorite, I break for the Whiskey Rebellion. Okay, I've talked long enough. Now it's time to ingratiate myself with you somehow. Hey, it's a nice jacket. I hope it's not a real cow that you slaughtered. Polystyrene, cool. Yeah, fossil fuels, right? You're the reason that gas costs $1.15 a gallon. Nice glasses.
Don't go too far here.
Don't go too far. Okay.
Right out of the socket over here.
Oh, is that all you're worried about? Thank you, Brendan. I like Brendan's effects because they're nice and subtle, you know? He's learned his lesson. Or maybe not. Okay, no effects for this next one because it's a manly set, okay? I'm gonna do a whole manly bit now. I think, fuck man, I think they should fucking jazz up football, you know what I mean? Like none of this sissy stuff with throwing the pigskin for the long bomb. You know what I say? I say, fuck breaking their backs with a sissy tackle. Ram a fucking hand grenade down their throats! That's real sport, okay? And the Olympics, I think the Olympics could be like really improved if you had falconing as an Olympic event. Like, look at that falcon tear that pigeon's eyes out. I'd give it a 9.5. No, it's definitely worth a 10. Watch his form as his rapier-like claws eviscerate that hapless bird before it's even hit the ground. His handler must be mighty proud of him today. The judges award him 9.8, 9.8, 9.8, 10, 10. Unprecedented! Or the cockfighting Olympics, or the bear baiting Olympics, you know. I mean, if we're gonna go back to middle-age pageantry, let's just do it up. Good, you know? That's what I say. Oh, and I think Disneyland would be very much improved with one simple addition. Machine guns. Look at him take down that big rat. That's a Mach 9, isn't it? No, I think it's one of those newer models, you know, the semi-automatic that converts to a full auto. I could have been someone, you know. Thank you. Thank you. Mike says I'm a unique individual. I love you, you love me. Ah, the goodness extractor will restore me to my proper. You know, I could have been accomplishing something really important, like cleaning up the vomit at the Wang Center after the Boston Music Awards, you know? But instead, here I am at the Middle East. Because I'm at that awkward age Too old to be a rock star, too young to be a lounge singer. So I decided to call myself a comedian. And you know, comedians can learn a lot from me. Unfortunately, all of my material is copyrighted. I like to go to Weight Watchers meetings and leave chocolate-flavored farts in the vestibule. Where's the explosive gales of laughter, which is supposed to... Well, it doesn't matter, man, you know? Some people call it staying at home. Some people call it cocooning. I call it constructing heartless shelters where heartless people can go to hide from the homeless. That's my socially aware segment. So now, back to reality. I am a warrior. My weapon is an appendage of my personality. I am not trying to hypnotize you into becoming my earth slaves. I should have opened with that, huh? The New York Times has praised The Wrong Hero's book, Compulsive Reading, as a must-read. His second book, History of Dust, was also called a must-read. And his award-winning self-hurt book, which will make him $1 million, except he refuses to publish it. And of course, his classic combination of Irish and American literature, Huckleberry Finnegan's Wake. River run past cops and nigger gyms leads us via circumlocutus locution to Aunt Polly's house. The end. Try that on National Public Radio. You know, I think that my house was built on the site of an Indian burial ground. How do I know? Well, maybe it was the army blankets infested with cholera, or maybe it was the peyote buttons in the shape of bingo markers that tipped me off. I'm not sure. You don't see that there.
Mike, keep going the script.
Yeah, Mike, listen.
You're deviating.
No, I'm not deviating.
When are you going to get to the aardvark and the blood sugar?
Oh, I'll be there.
Yeah!
That's the fantasy portion of my
Talk
segment.
about aardvark.
All right. You're a Cerebus fan, aren't you? You know what? They're on number what? 130? It's like now the storyline takes 15 issues just for the damn aardvark to twitch. Cerebus picks his nose. Issue number 123, you know? Panel 1, panel 2, panel 3. Boy, that feels good at the end. You know? Cerebus is it's overrated, I'm telling you. Overrated. Okay, what ethnic groups are represented here? Venusian, Alpha Centauran. You look like a fine Anglo-Saxon laddie. And German, French, Hmong. Do you dwell among us? Oh, Irish. Irish. Sure, I'm going to open up an Irish restaurant. It'll be called Frolicking, Hallucinating, Ether Sniffing, Leprechaun Worshipping Cuisine. You know, and I like to do some other ethnic restaurants too. Any ethnic groups in particular?
French.
French. French. Gee, fight with our feet, fuck with our face. You know, I don't know. It's hard, man, it's hard. I gotta work on that. Now, North Korea. North Korea wants to get the A-bomb. North Korea wants to get a nuclear device. Why? So they can turn North Korea into a barren wasteland? Brilliant thinking!
You used that joke on the...
On Saddam Hussein and Iraq, I know. Saddam wants to get the atom bomb. Why? So he can turn the Middle East into a desert wasteland? See, I adapt my material to suit the times. I love working for the Middle East. You know, I really love working here, except it's hard to convince people of your sincerity when your coat smells like hot grease. And if you spend enough time here, you too will discover this all-important truth.
You're back on track?
Hey, I gotta get back on track, okay? This is a true story. I know because I was personally there and I saw it. A man brought an aardvark aboard an airplane, and you know, it weighs like, what, 85 pounds. It was squirming in his lap, and the stewardess came up to him and said, "Sir, if you can't hold your liquor, I'm going to have to refuse you service." Well, anyway, what happened was, the aardvark was looking out the plane window as they were flying over Manhattan, and it thought that the Manhattanites were ants, and so it sort of stuck its tongue out the window. Finally, it thrust its pointed snout out the window. It got sucked out of the window. The stewardess got sucked out of the window. The pilot was hanging onto the wheel like this. Stupid animal. It didn't know the difference between Manhattanites and ants. What is the difference? More thrash. Let's see, nursery rhymes, or what? Clinton's inaugural. You know, they could sing anything, like, "We're gonna make this a kind of a general nation, hey!" You know, anything at all for thrash. You know, it's like, or no, wait. Get all the hippie crap, you know, and turn it into thrash songs, like, "Dark Star, see you in the morning, Dark Star! Do, 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 do." Or, "Done! Go away, I'm looking for you!" Or anything at all. Oh, Beatles songs, of course. "Anytime at all! You don't let go! I'm here! There's so much later than mine!" Now it's getting into the blues. Thrash blues. It's like, "Little Bob, you're gonna blow your horn." I'm not famous, but I'm on 100 computerized mailing lists. And years before Steven Spielberg thought of it, I starred a Tyrannosaurus Rex in a production of "Your Arms Are Too Short to Box with God." Now, some of you may recognize me. I invented a car that runs on blood sugar. Of course, you might not recognize me. I lost 300 pounds on the drive from Albany. And it's a good thing I picked up that hitchhiker. The reason I picked him up was, he was the man in whose mouth butter wouldn't melt, and I was eating an ear of corn at the time. Okay, guys, I love your introspective little dialogue. It doesn't distract me in the slightest. And now the closing remarks of the Wrong Hero, just in time for you to uncross your arms and quit fidgeting in your seats. Okay, if I could request a moment of almost absolute silence for this segment of my show, it is very important and crucial that I establish my character once and for all in my closing remarks.
Does that include you?
Huh?
Will you be silent too?
Scooby-Doo. No, yeah, I'll shut up, I'll shut up. I refuse to die. What I'm doing right now is circling the drain. Because I'm the Wrong Hero, and I come to destroy your Earth comedy. And because I come to destroy your Earth comedy, I will become a part of its heritage. Just you wait and see. Remember, desecration is the sincerest, yet the most perverse form of flattery. I'm the Wrong Hero. I have an opinion about everything, and the less I know about it, the better off I am. Try me. I have an opinion about everything. Try me.
What's your opinion about,
I don't know. I don't have any opinions of my own.
opinion about the Archies?
The Archies.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you should ask me that. They're sort of like the prototype for New Kids on the Block, aren't they? I don't know. I've always thought so. Well, it's sort of like
What about Tofu?
Tofu. Isn't that a band from Kansas? Tofu. Yeah, when I was in college, it's like, "Hey, how do you like that tofu we added to the menu?" "Oh, it's good." "What do you mean? It ain't got no taste." You know, it's like setting me up. Okay, Mr. Jesus. I'm the wrong hero, and I stand by every one of my opinions. But don't quote me. I've been great. You've been all right. Adequate. My job is to tell you the truth and make you laugh. And your job is to laugh when you recognize the truth. See that in the future, you do not disappoint me.
Hi, I'm the wrong hero. And to conclude conflict, I'd like to give something of a summary of the way I feel about the issue of conflict. Well, of course there's conflict with people, and there's conflict between nation states, and of course there's the conflict of ideas. But most of all, there's the conflict between me and Boston. Because Boston is full of people whose only culture is in their frozen yogurt, and that's been dead for years too. It's just a colonial hamlet blown up to poster size. And I'll tell you another thing about Boston. The witches in Boston, they used to burn them at the stake. Now they just ignore them. That's what I have to say on the subject of Boston. You know, the thing is, though, it's not just Boston, it's the entire world, which is ruled by delusions. Delusions. For example, the Japanese believe that Jesus was buried in Japan. The Chinese think their next war will be with the United States. The Canadians want the United States to be their 11th province. The Americans want guns to be legal and drugs to be outlawed. South Carolina still flies the stars and bars, the Confederate symbol. Wales wants nuclear power plants instead of ugly windmills. And people in Virginia are convinced that Oliver North is sincere because he has big spaces in between his teeth. Well, I'll tell you what I believe. Television is chewing tobacco for the eyes. Politics is sports for people who are too fat to run. And when you're out driving, people who wear hats are the worst people in the world to get stuck behind because they're always the worst drivers. Anyway, on the national scene, Bill Clinton's cat is involved in a scandal called hate water. Richard Nixon, our revered elder statesman and unindicted co-conspirator, has gone to a better world where he can presumably shake hands for all eternity with a bleary-eyed Elvis. Elvis Presley and John Lennon biographer Albert Goldman recently died in mid-flight over the Atlantic Ocean on his way to a BBC session in London after getting into an argument at the Florida airport over whether he was booked for the tourist class flight or the first class flight. When Johnny Rotten was asked what he felt about Kurt Cobain, he said, "I don't give a fuck about Kurt Cobain," and I think I agree with Mr. Rotten on that one. Cab drivers are the 20th century version of indentured servants. Russia is a third world country with ICBMs. Harvard Square is beginning to look more and more like a medieval walled city. Coca-Cola has this new drink called a.k.a. aimed at 18 to 24-year-olds. Just try soaking old grandpa's dentures in a glass full of it and then see if everything's going to be okay. Then they got this stuff called Zima. Zima? What is this short for? Emphysema? What's the secret ingredient? Asbestos? I want to know. You know, the media, they just harp on the same old stuff over and over again. You know, like the news cycle used to be 1 week and then that's it. But now it's like deja vu, deja vu, deja vu, deja voodoo. Like Whitewater Grafton. Poor Jackie O died. Like 3 billion other people didn't just die in the last 20 years. Marion Barry's running for mayor. Like, it isn't his right to run for mayor. Gun buybacks are a failure. Moscow is overrun by crime lords. Greeks are rioting over Greater Macedonia. Trouble's brewing in the Crimean Peninsula. How many more times are we going to read these headlines? What are they, stamped out in a stereotype, a standing head every 3 weeks? Oh, the news cycle's slow. Moscow overrun by crime lords. How many people are going to continue pointing out that the Flintstones is just like the Honeymooners? How many times are we going to read that toilet plungers can help heart attack victims?
How many times are we going to hear these jokes again?
Well, I don't know, Steve. Seeing as how you haven't been writing any jokes lately, I guess I gotta do my jokes. Well, how's about the news that you don't read on the networks? The Staten Island ferry is crawling with cockroaches. 6,000 homeless people live in New York City tunnel networks. Cuba's peso is worth 1 penny. Prozac may accelerate tumor growth. And a personal note, if you drive a Hyundai, the oil pump could give out at any moment without so much as a warning from the stinking lousy warning light. For $7 more, they could have put a warning light that would tell you that the oil pump wasn't working. But no. That was this fellow named Wayne Huizinga. He wants to build a blockbuster Wayne's World complex near the Everglades. Of course, he's also the head of waste management, and Greenpeace calls them the biggest polluters in the world, so I guess we can kiss the pink flamingo goodbye. Let's see. O.J. Simpson. Isn't this just like Amy Fisher to the power of Magic Johnson? 3 of the Beatles got back together. They were the wrong 3 Beatles, but what can you do about that? Let's see. A school roof in Florida collapsed under the weight of pigeon droppings. In Lithuanian, Dan quail means clothead, and wrinkly spearmint gum is whale sperm. Antonio Banderas says, there are no countries anymore, just banks. Nevertheless, in countries around the world, strange things are happening. Tuna eyes are a fad in Japan. The Cheerios scare isn't keeping the obnoxiously chipper cartoon bee from hawking their own crud over the airwaves 24 hours a day. We recently celebrated the 50th anniversary of D-Day, and it was so successful that they're thinking of bringing back World War II. In 1994, over $100 billion was spent just on global military research and development, to say nothing of the military, while 1 billion people live on less than $1 a day.
Hey, I'm one of those people.
Hey, cool, man. Central Square on less than $1 a day.
You ever want some nectarine?
Nectarine. Let's see. Aspartame is unsafe. Contraceptive sponges are unsafe. Inner city dog fights are a scandal. And let's not mention water shortages, killer quakes, oil crises, nuclear reactor accidents, refugee booms, and accelerated global warming. I ask you, is the 20th century just the Dark Ages with vinyl siding, or what? 400 years ago, Portugal was a world empire. Now the only thing remembers about him, the only thing anybody remembers about him is port wine. Now 400 years from now, the only thing that anybody's going to remember about the United States is styrofoam, plutonium, and dioxin. Right?
Hey, what's this environmentalist stuff?
Gee, I don't know.
Environmentalists are just a bunch of Mama Earth boys.
That's Steve Iskowitz's party line, and I can't say I disagree with him altogether. Well, I'll tell you, the theme of this particular production was conflict. And before I go, I've got to give you a brief update, which was the whole point of leaving this time open. Courtney Love has a photograph of her smooching with even Dando of the Lemonheads, while clutching a teddy bear stuffed with Kurt Cobain's ashes. Elvis Presley's daughter married Michael Jackson. As we all know, thousands of penguins threatened by an oil slick were evacuated from an island near Cape Town, South Africa. In Australia, a koala struck by an automobile was treated to a CAT scan. In Russia, faith healers, pyramid schemers, and vodka factories are working overtime, and stealing state property is called spontaneous privatization. In Japan, Sokyo, the laugh at everything religion, is sweeping the nation, and also they're working on a process to turn raw sewage into a beef-like food, which I'm sure McDonald's is going to be very interested in hearing about. In Italy, an individual named Lino Missio has invented a condom which plays a quick burst of Beethoven when it breaks. In the United States, a recent survey reveals that 4% of heterosexual men use lipstick. 1 child in 4 is in a single-parent family. 1,000 cities have curfews for minors. In New York State, it is illegal to interfere with a woman who is breastfeeding. In Delaware, DuPont has been called the nation's biggest corporate producer and the world's main producer of ozone-eating CFCs. And get this, fish without eyes, a 2-headed bird, and a 9-legged frog have been discovered in Gore, Oklahoma, site of the Sequoia Fuels nuclear power plant. And in Cambridge, rent control could be abolished by July of 1995. Well, that's about all the time we have. You're tuned to Cafe Cabaret. I'm the wrong hero. This is conflict, and now conflict is over.